What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I am here in the first day after the JDM era at welterweight was sadly put to an end. But unfortunately, we have to move on, right? We have to live, we have to learn, we have to move on, we have to laugh, And today we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the fights that the UFC needs to make next from all the biggest winners and the losers of those fights from UFC 322. I'm not going to be covering every single fighter. So if you're here wondering what's next for Tracy Cortez, you're on the wrong website, brother. That is not happening in this video. Let's move on to the first fight. Why did I just get an email, bro? Who the fuck sends an email hating on me? These Islam fans are next. I just got an email hating on me. How the fuck do you send me an email hating on me? Anyways, let's move on to the first fighter to talk about, which is Ethan Ewing, who got an incredible win, back and forth brawl against Malcolm Wellmaker. He wins by decision and introduces himself to the bantamweight division. I know the fight was short notice at featherweight, but this is a bantamweight matchup, and I think a next great fight to continue the hype of Ethan Ewing, who's a lot of people's new favorite fighter at bantamweight, is him versus Adrian Yanez, dude. Dude, Adrian Yanez was supposed to fight. I think bring him back soon, early next year. Yanez versus Ewing. This is literally the photo that this fucking guy has on Google. That's how short notice this dude showed up and beat Malcolm Wellmaker, one of the most hyped up, one of the best prospects at 135 in a long while. So I think that Ewing versus Yanez, this is a great boxing match. I think this would be a super exciting fight. It's another guy that was kind of hyped up as a prospect, but now he's a little bit more experienced. He's got a crafty beard like myself. I think Yanez versus Ewing would be a sick fight. As for Malcolm Wellmaker bouncing back, I think him versus like Davy Grant. Oh my days, Davy Grant. Oh my bloody days. I think that would be a cool bounce back fight for Wellmaker, but yeah, I'd love to see Yanez versus Ewing. I think that'd be a sick fight, dude, all right? Let's move on to the king of the prelims, Bot Nickel, because again, a lot of you freaking haters were doubting this, man. A lot of you freaking haters, you weren't there with us on the hikes up the mountains in Happy Valley. A lot of you guys weren't there mixing up the smoothies with us, dude. A lot of you guys weren't there picking the berries, man, and Bo Nickel has bounced back from his defeat to Reinier de Ridder. He wins by brutal knockout against what's the kid's name? Rodolfo Vieira. And now he's looking to bounce back in the middleweight division. I don't think he should be getting a ranked opponent. I guess I'll say that to start off. I don't think you should get a ranked opponent for beating Rodolfo Vieira. I mean, it was a nasty knockout, but he did lose pretty clearly to Reinier de Ridder when he was ranked in the top 15. Not in the top 10, not in the top 5. I know it's age kind of okay for Bo Nickel, but not really with the Brendan Allen fight, but still, it's a ranked opponent. I think a decent next step would be Nursultan Ruziboyev versus Bot Nickel. This is another one I think in the it is like a masterclass of UFC matchmaking that looks really scary. Like when you see this on paper, you're like, dude, I don't know, Ruziboyev low-key chins him. This guy got out-wrestled very easily by Joaquin Buckley. This guy took Dustin Soltzfus to a competitive decision just like Kelvin Gastelum. So I think Nursultan Ruziboyev, yes, he does have power. He's a massive middleweight. He has a long, like 6'4" frame for the division. I think Bo Nickel would beat this guy. I think he would wrestle him. I think this is more logical than matching him up with Suzakayev, who does not deserve to fight him. You beat fucking Eric McCann. You are literally Bo Nickel, bro. You are literally Bo Nickel 2.0, kid. You're beating these random jobbers on the prelims by boring fucking submission off TKO in round 3 or 2. And, you know, you're acting hyped up because you're undefeated. I think Bo Nickel is above Suzakayev, dude. I think Ruziboyev is a scarier name and a scarier matchup, but I do think he wins this fight. So I would do Nursultan Ruziboyev versus Bot Nickel. Maybe throw this one on the White House card to get the boy Bo Nickel in there. I mean, so you can get Joe. He's playing golf, man. He's a marauder. You know what I mean? That's an easy layup for the UFC. I'm almost certain Bo Nickel will not be fighting again until that White House card. And I think Ruziboyev is like a scary foreign heel that he can beat up on that card. So I would do Ruziboyev versus Bot Nickel. And I'm not talking about any other prelims, man. RoboCop, maybe fight Marvin Vettori. Maybe we can see if that chin can get cracked. Or maybe, you know, we get RoboCop versus, I don't know, like Jung Yong Park. That'd be kind of something. Oh, they already fought each other. Fuck. You know, something like that. I don't give a fuck, to be honest, man. All right, let's move on to the main card. In the first individual we need to talk about, unfortunately, it is Beneil Dariush. Okay, dude, Benny, He got sent to the afterlife with fucking arms wide open, you know, on some Creed shit. But I think he should retire. If he doesn't, though, this is a banger, and I know bangers in this lightweight division. Can we please get Beneil Dariush versus Grant Dawson? Can we please get these two scrambling in the Apex? I need this in the Apex, by the way. I need that in the Apex. Thank you. Dana, get this booked now, buddy. Beneil Dariush and Grant Dawson scrambling it up in the Apex, slipping and sliding all over the little canvas in the 25-inch cage. That is the next bounce back for Beneil Dariush. I hate looking at this picture of him. It just reminds me of him getting fluked out cold by BSD. But this is the type of matchup you're getting now. You're getting knocked out pretty easily now. You were top 10. You got slimed out. I'm interested to see if Beneil Dariush is still ranked after losing to BSD, seeing if he retires. If he sticks around, I think this is a grappling-heavy matchup. I probably would lean Grant Dawson at this point in their careers, but I think this is a little bit more safe of a matchup than, all right, buddy, here's fucking, you know, someone else that's a striker that's going to knock you out, you know what I mean? Someone else that's going to get in your face and scrap with you. But after seeing that BSD, no, I feel like literally anyone touches this, now he's chinny. Now Beneil Dariush is chinny, whatever this guy's name. Now Dariush, unfortunately, my sweet prince. I think the title run is over. And I think Grant Dawson would be a decent bounce back. Maybe this is the retirement fight, but yeah, I think Dariush versus Dawson. If we do get Benny coming back from this brutal loss, I think this is a little bit safer. Makes sense in the rankings. I want to see this. I'm a hardcore. I want to see these two scramble with each other. I think this would be a fun little fight if he does come back, all right? As for Benoit Scam Denise, who I thought we caught and compromised to a permanent end in Miami when we sent Officer Poirier. This is my fucking house, dude. You know, it is what it is. Such a fucking dweeb, dude. The guy fluked Dariush, dude. I thought we compromised this fucking guy. I thought we sent Agent Poirier and Agent Moicano to fraud check this guy, but he's bouncing back. And he's coming back. And he's rising up the rankings. So I think the next logical fight to make, BSD versus Chandler. Benoit Saint-Denis wins this. Make no mistake. Do not take this as me going, yeah, oh yeah? Let's see if you can beat Michael Chandler now. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that. That's obviously, he's going to beat Michael Chandler if they fight. All right? But I think this is a logical next step. I think the winner of this is looking at like a BMF title fight, maybe. The winner of this is looking at like Dan Hooker, you know, Charles Oliveira if he loses again. You know what I mean? Something like that. I think that's really reasonable for the winner of this fight. I think this makes a lot of sense. I think this is another fight that MMA fans really want to see in the lightweight division before Chandler retires. And I think this would be a fun fight. I do think BSD would win this. I think he would maraud Chandler, beat him up, probably finish him, to be honest. But I do hope that Chandler would have some success and I could be like, listen, dude, Paddy Pimblett did better, kid. All right? That's what I would hope. But I think in terms of being objective and like what would be a banger matchup, what would make sense, BSD is probably going to be ranked like 9 or 10th. Chandler's going to stay at number 11 or 12. This would be a sick addition to a pay-per-view, dude. Don't lie, bro. January pay-per-view drops. Paramount debut, they add this to it. That's a heater. Debut opening fight of the main card. Chandler versus BSD. That's a war, dude. That's an instant 50Ks added to the pay-per-view. So that to me is a no-brainer. I wouldn't be mad at like BSD versus Gamrot if we're going the technical. He actually needs to be fighting up the rankings. Okay, Gamrot, fine, whatever. I think he beats Fiziev, to be honest. I think Gamrot's a tougher fight for him, but Chandler to me is the most entertaining, most name value you're going to get. That's almost more valuable than beating Gamrot, right? Like, even though he's ranked higher, I think beating Chandler is more valuable. So that's why I would make that fight. And this belongs on a pay-per-view as well. That's another reason I would make this. So that to me is a no-brainer, all right? Let's move on to Leon Momomovsky. Bro, I didn't get knocked out, bro. I was fucking sleepy, bro. What are you talking about, bro? Shut the fuck up, bro. What are you doing? Unfortunately for Leon Edwards, brother, it's over, dude. Okay, and you guys know I picked Prates. I was happy for Prates to win. If you rewatch the live reaction, it's like Santa left a fucking BMW under the tree. I'm like, oh, yes! You know what I mean? But it is sad. Like, the post-knockout clarity's hitting. I feel bad for Leon Edwards. But I want to give him a saving grace here. I want to give him a shining moment here. You know, to let him know it's all right, dude. I want to turn things around for Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards, brother, it's okay, brother. You're in Valhalla now, brother. Leon Edwards, brother, we answer the call for you. We'll see you in Valhalla, brother. Leon Edwards, it's okay. You can fight Gilbert Burns now. I know you wanted to fight him when you were champion. I know you wanted to fight him when Bilal 50-45'd him. He said, I'm not interested in Bilal. I don't think Bilal deserves it. I think I fight Gilbert Burns. You know, he's not washed. He's not washed. I could fight maybe Wonderboy next. Don't worry, brother. You are now both washed. You can fight each other, dude. You're welcome, man. I love making dreams come true. Leon Edwards can get on the... Bro, we're both washed. We're both washed. We can both fight each other, bro. I truly believe this is a great fight for me, bro. We're both washed. Leon Edwards, I think if he sticks around, he should fight these unks of the division that he can beat. I think he can still beat some of these guys. Like, he did okay against Prates before he got knocked out. But I don't think he beats the rest of this top 10 now that's, like, young and dangerous, right? Like, he was supposed to fight JDM. He would have got slimed out. He was supposed to fight Khamzat Chimaev back in the day. He would have got slimed out. I think he avoided all these scary... And not on purpose, but just, like... He got luckily, like, kind of shifted around and avoided some of these scary matchups. And maybe you could say the same for some other guys in the division. Maybe you could say, oh, maybe Brady would have smudged JDM before he fought for the belt. I guess we'll never know, because one of them became champ and one of them just got slumped by Michael Morales. So who's fucking winning now? But now that Leon Edwards is on the downfall, I think let's get some of these fun matchups we never got to see. I wouldn't be mad at Masvidal coming back and fighting him. I think Leon absolutely beats the shit out of Masvidal right now. Masvidal's fat and old. And he's sitting on Instagram. Does anybody have the Wi-Fi password? Does anybody have the Wi-Fi password? I'm going to break this little dude's face completely, bro. Completely, bro. Bro has a fucking beer belly on him. Yo, I'm going to break this little dude completely, bro. Leon would absolutely demolish Masvidal. If the UFC entertains that, okay, that's a free win for Leon. But if we're talking about seriously matchmaking him, I think Gilbert Burns makes a lot of sense. They're two kind of older guys of the division. They probably should have fought at some point in the past. It never really happened. I think now is a good time to do it. I wouldn't be mad at Leon versus Jeff Neal too, but I feel like this is a little bit more reasonable. So I would say Jeff Neal, unfortunately, brother, you're going to be fighting Colby, Gabriel Bonfim or some shit like that. I think Leon versus Gilbert Burns is a pretty sick fight to make. As for CP, what do we do with CP? Because he did ask for a title shot. And listen, part of me wants to just say, hey, fuck Michael Morales. Let's just send Prates up versus Islam. Two completely different personalities, two completely different fighting styles. But I know what happens to Prates, right? And I need some reassurance, all right, dude? I want to see Bilal Muhammad versus Carlos Prates, because here's my logic. Here's my thought about this, right? I still don't know if Bilal is going to beat Ian Gary. I have a feeling now Ian Gary's probably going to win by boring decision. And the UFC is probably going to look to do Ian Gary versus Islam Makhachev, Conor versus Khabib 2.0, you know what I mean? All that type of stuff. They'll probably try and bring Conor in, see if he'll corner Ian Gary or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that is a real possibility of Islam versus Ian Gary is what the UFC wants next. Obviously, there's Ilya there, but we'll talk about him in a minute. I think if Bilal Muhammad loses that fight, he won't get dropped down the rankings. It'll be a close fight. But if he wins, the UFC, and I want this to be perfectly clear, like this is very obvious to me, but if anybody doesn't know this, the UFC will never give Bilal Muhammad a title shot again. Bilal Muhammad could literally go on a fucking another 9-fight win streak. He could knock out JDM. He could knock out Khabib. You know, he could knock out Leon Edwards. You know what I mean? He will never get another title shot. They are not doing that again. So I feel like even if he beats Ian Gary, he will end up fighting Carlos Prates. They have beef. There's the Radke knockout. Prates goes over to the corner, starts talking shit. Bilal Muhammad, bro, the thing with Prates, bro, he sucks. He sucks. He's a bum. He's literally not on my level. Bro, I take this guy down. I dominate him, bro, everywhere in the fight. The striking, the grappling, bro, the wrestling. I think this would be a sick fight night main event. I'd love to see Bilal versus Prates. And if Prates can win this and deal with some wrestling from a high-level wrestler that has had those comparisons to Islam. I don't know who's made those comparisons. Some people have said that, Islam JDM would be similar to JDM Bilal, you know what I mean? So I think this is a solid win for Prates if he wins this to say, hey, give me my fucking title shot. So that's what I would do. Prates versus Bilal. If Gary beats Bilal, he'll probably get a title shot. This still makes a lot of sense. Maybe you do Prates versus Shavkat. I'm not talking about the co-main event. I'm just going to be real with you, dude. I don't care. I'm so disappointed in that co-main event, and the main event, but the co-main event especially was really bad. And it's it was like, I won't say it's as bad as Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza, but we had higher expectations for this. And I'm sick of Valentina Shevchenko just not getting any hate because she's the fucking flyweight champion. And Joe Rogan she's just the best of the best. That's 3 times now, in the words of Paul Felder. that she stunk up a fucking pay-per-view. The Sphere pay-per-view absolutely stunk it up. 315 with JDM beat the brakes off Bilal, stunk it up. This pay-per-view killed the fucking crowd. That fight was the worst thing to happen in New York I've ever fucking seen in my life, dude. Okay? That was the worst thing that's ever happened to New York, ever. Was Valentina versus Wei Li. Because of Valentina just laying her in half guard. If you want to know what fights to make next, let's do Wei Li versus Alexa Grasso. Or Wei Li versus Erin Blanchfield. I don't give a fuck. And give Natalia Silva a title shot against, what's her name? Valentina Shevchenko. Who gives a fuck, dude? Genuinely, that was terrible, bro. And I'm not even going to get on here and be like, oh, it's not that bad. It was that bad. It was that bad. Because it's not just a WMMA thing. It's the fact that we literally held this fight to a higher standard. We gave you the respect. We went out on a limb. I went out on a limb and said, this is the highest level women's MMA fight ever. I am excited for this. I brought this up at parties, dude. Are you kidding me? I literally went at fucking public gatherings with other human beings present. We're talking about UFC. They're like, oh, what do you think about JDM? It's like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I was wrong about that too. Fuck me. And then I stopped the convo and like a hardcore. I go, hey, but you know, listen, Valentina Wei Li too. That's going to be a banger too. So you make me look like a fucking idiot twice, dude. So fuck that, bro. I'm not talking about that fight. Give Natalia Silva a title shot. Who gives a fuck? Do Wei Li versus Alexa Grasso. Who cares? Let's talk about the main event, man. Let's talk about fucking JDM. What's next for my boy JDM? Now, obviously, me and Jack, we've chopped it up a little bit since the fight. You know, we've talked about some adjustments that we need to make in the rematch. I'm nervous. I'm genuinely nervous. I'm going to be completely one-to-one honest with you here, man. Every welterweight champion that loses their belt, they go on a losing streak, and that worries me because JDM's young and he's so fucking goated. And I don't care what the Islam fans say, bro. Islam, that is an impressive win for Islam. You're not allowed to simultaneously glaze Islam and talk about JDM like he's a bum. It has to be one or the other. You either don't rate JDM at all as a win and you think he was never good, then why are you celebrating Islam beating him if it was so easy, right? It's supposed to be so easy. JDM's so bad, Islam just destroyed it. You know what I mean? Or you're a logical person and you go, wow, JDM's really good. I can't believe Islam did that to him. That is the outcome. That is what it should be, right? So logically in my head, I'm like, JDM will bounce back, dude. But a part of me with this welterweight champion curse, I'm like, bro, I swear to God, if I see this guy lose to fucking Joaquin Buckley or some shit, dude. If I see this guy lose to fucking Ian Gary, dude, I'm done, right? But a part of me is worried, but the real part of me, I feel like JDM can avoid the curse because he's 29 and he's fucking goated. So I think a good bounce back fight for JDM that still tests some of the things we need to work on, but also is a little bit more favorable matchup. I think JDM versus Shavkat's a banger. I think this is a fight that every UFC fan wants to see in this welterweight division. I wouldn't be mad at JDM versus Prates. I think that JDM versus Morales would be a sick fight too. But I think logically speaking, I think him versus Shavkat, that's a fight that was kind of talked about. It was supposed to be Shavkat fighting Bilal for the title when JDM got the shot. So I think there's a bit of a storyline there. And like I said, this is still a dangerous matchup. Shavkat can wrestle, but I think his offensive wrestling is overrated. I don't think it's anywhere near the level of Islam Makhachev. And I think his defense is worse. He's more of a blockhead. I think he's a little bit more durable than Islam Makhachev in terms of ability to take damage. But I think JDM will stand with him and actually be able to strike with him. And this could be a fucking scrap. This would be a really sick fight. I think this would be competitive back and forth. JDM probably wins this by fucking decision, in my opinion. But this would be a good test. This would be a good bounce back. It's a banger fight. They're both right next to each other in the rankings. A lot of people debate about this. I still believe JDM wins this fight. I don't think Shavkat's the level of wrestler or grappler of Islam Makhachev. And I think his blockhead defense would get fucking pinged around by the GOAT JDM. And that's a fight I think would be a sick 5-rounder. I mean, if you get a Sydney pay-per-view next year, main event, Volk versus Evloev or Volk versus Lerone Murphy, co-main event, 5 rounds, JDM versus Shavkat. I'm there. I'm there, dude. UFC, fly me out. I'm there. I'll be there. I'll corner both of them, mate. We'll fucking sort out this grappling shit, mate. I'll fucking sort them out. But yeah, I would do JDM versus Shavkat next. I wouldn't be mad at JDM versus Prates either, but I think Shavkat's a bigger name and it's a more exciting fight for the hardcore and the casual fan. I think this is a fight we've all wanted to see for a little bit, especially 5 rounds. JDM Shavkat for 5 rounds. That's a fucking banger, all right? Last fight to talk about is what is next for Islam Makhachev. He did not really say any names. I haven't seen his post-fight press conference, but all I saw in the post-fight interview was bro roaring like a fucking orc. after smudging my GOAT JDM, fuck you, and saying he wants to fight on the White House. So I hope that he's serious. I hope that that means we get him back in June, because if this guy sits around for another fucking year, brother, this guy don't have grappling, this guy don't have wrestling. Sitting around for a fucking year with no damage taken, I'm gonna be pissed. Please be active now that you're at 170 and you're not cutting weight anymore. Please, bro. That's all I'm asking. I'm an Islam fan. You can go back and check the logs. I said this guy beat Volk in the moment, and no other people were willing to say that. I said he beat Volk in the first fight. The moment it happened, I was defending him, saying he won that fight. I picked him every other fight. And now that he's the welterweight champion, yes, I'm sad that JDM lost. That's my boy, dude. That's my dog. But I am interested to see some of these matchups with Islam Makhachev. And I never thought I would be saying this, but I think Islam versus Morales right now should be next. Now, the biggest thing hinging on this is Ian Gary versus Bilal Muhammad. If Ian Gary beats Bilal Muhammad, he is getting the title shot. He is getting the title shot. He beat Prates. He has that over him. If he beats Bilal, that means he has that over Sean Brady as well, who Michael Morales got his, ranking off of. So I think if Ian Gary beats Bilal, this whole part is invalid. It will be Islam versus Ian Gary at the White House. Khabib versus Conor 2.0. Islam, brother, this guy good striking, but nobody check him wrestling, brother. This guy gonna be like Conor in this fight. And then, mate, I've gone out there and dominated Bilal Muhammad, and I'm gonna go in there and absolutely box the head off Islam. And then, try and fight a 48-47 zesty clinch decision. But, yeah, I think that there's a lot of storylines for Ian Gary Islam. But right now, beating Sean Brady by knockout, who destroyed Leon Edwards, who Prates just slumped, I think in terms of MMA math, if you add you carry the one, you add the two, Michael Morales deserves the title shot the most right now. I think it is a little bit sad that Sean Brady's kind of getting fucked over, because I think him versus Islam would have been a really interesting matchup, but it is what it is. In my opinion, this is what's next, unless Ian Gary beats Bilal Muhammad. But let me know in the comments down below, what fights do you think the UFC needs to make next after what happened this weekend? Let me know your opinions on these matchups in the comments down below. If you agree, if you disagree, let me know. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'm not retiring. I will be sticking around, okay, dude? I just thought it'd be funny to drop that retirement thing on the video yesterday. But yeah, man, appreciate all the support, man. Drop a like, subscribe, go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. And I'll see you guys in the next video, man. There's just a glimmer gone from my eyes now that JDM's not the fucking champ, mate. But at least we still got fucking Volk, bro. Oh, dude, if Volk loses, I'm going to kill myself.